contains the cones which are responsible for color vision. Deepika, कतिजना स्टुडेन्टहरु छन् हेर त एकपल्ट
72 जना छन् सर 72 जना
The retina is the light sensitive portion of the eye that contains the cones which are responsible for color vision, okay, and the rods which can detect dim light and are mainly responsible for the black and white vision and vision in the dark, okay. So dark vision and the color vision. You can say dim light especially. When either rods or cones are excited, signals are transmitted first through successive layers of neurons in the retina. There is a layers of neurons in the retina. I'll show you the diagram. And finally into optic nerve. And that impulse go to the optic nerve. Optic nerve is which cranial nerve? Anybody?
Second cranial nerve.
Second cranial nerve. Okay, very good. And then from the optic nerve, you can say that optic chiasma is there, and then go there both side, and they go fibers and the left and right. So they cross over there, optic chiasma and the cerebral cortex. Actually, that is a vision area, okay, in the cerebral cortex. So then the purpose of this lecture that I am going to do today is to explain the mechanism by which the rods and cones detect light and color and convert the visual image into optic nerve signals. So today's next lecture is mainly concerned of that. Okay, how to light is now falls on the retina, then impulse is generated there. There are a lot of layers of neurons there. Then the impulse go to the optic nerve and to the cerebral cortex. Okay, and that is there are chemistry. Okay, chemistry of there. Chemical things are going on. Electrical things and chemical things both are happening there. Okay, and these are special kind of cells. The neurons are special kind of cells, and these rods and cones are also special kind of cells. A kind of transducer. You can see they change into photon energy into chemical energy into electrical energy. Okay, so this is a transducer. In physics, you can say that there are special types of transducer. Change one transducers change one form of energy into another form. Now this is the basic physics. Okay, if you understand this basic physics, then it becomes very easy to understand all these events here. Okay, so today I'm going to demonstrate all these things here today in the slides. Okay, let's see. Now, first of all, to understand this, you should know about the layers of the retina. How many layers of the retina? There are 9 layers. You can see. I'll show in the figure also. But first, to your purpose, you can list it. The number one, first layer is pigmented layer. The second layer of rods and cones projecting into the pigment. Third is outer nuclear layer containing the cells bodies of the rods and cones. Outer plexiform layer. Then inner layer starts. Now outer layer means then inner nuclear layer, inner plexiform layer, ganglionic layer of optic nerve fibers, and inner limiting membrane. So these are the layers. 9 layers altogether. The retina as a retina is a kind of screen, but screen which on which the light falls there from the lens, the eye lens. There is a optic path there from the lens to the cornea, lens, anterior chamber, posterior chamber. Those things will allowed in the anatomy, but the light falls on the cornea, then goes to this eye, okay, and falls on the retina. Retina is a screen type, but there are layers. How many layers? 9 layers. Okay. You remember this all nine layers. Now this is the figure of all these 9 layers. The pigment layer. This is a pigmented layer. Then outer nuclear layer. The cones, rod and cones are there. Then outer plexiform layer. There are horizontal cells. Horizontal cells. Then inner nuclear layer, there are amacrine cells, vertical pathways, bipolar cell. There are bipolar cell, amacrine cell, horizontal cell. 3 types of cells are there, inner nuclear. Okay. Then they can see the inner plexiform layer, now outer and inner plexiform layer. Then ganglionic cells you can see. And these ganglionic cells take the impulse and go to the optic nerve. This is a optic stratum opticum. See, and then the inner limiting membrane is there here. Okay, so these are the layers. Okay, this is the diagrammatic. If you cut the section of the retina, you can see these 9 layers are there. Okay, very important to understand these 9 layers to understand the basic mechanism, physiological, biochemical events that occurring within this. Okay, so we'll discuss today this. Okay. Now, to important point to know about this retinal layers are this. Okay, the important points I am highlighting here. After light passes through the lens system of the eye and then through the vitreous humor, it enters the retina from the inside of the eye. Okay, then that light passes first through the ganglion cells and then through the plexiform and the nuclear layers, and before it finally reaches the layer of rods and cones located all the way on the outer edge of the retina. Okay. Now, see, this is the things that the light passes through the ganglionic cells, not through this pigment layer. I'll show you. And see, this light now falls on this first. Light goes this way. Okay, pigment layer is in the far. Okay, so this is the way of light that passes through. Okay, remember, and then now this distance is a thickness of several hundred micrometers. The visual acuity is decreased by this passage through such non-homogeneous tissue. This is not homo. There is no homogeneity. There are a lot of cells and things everywhere. So, however, in the central foveal region of the retina, the inside layers are pulled inside to decrease the loss of acuity. So there is a fovea, the central region. There is that is a blind spot also we call, and there is something different from other part. Okay, so you know what is fovea, central blind spot. Okay, you should ask the anatomy people what is that. Okay, now let us talk something about rods and cones themselves. Okay, what are these? I will show the figure also, but first I will describe. Then you will see those things there. So, figure 2. Now, is a diagrammatic representation of the essential components of the photoreceptors, either rod or cone. They are called photoreceptors actually. And figure 3, we will see outer segment of the cone. Okay, then we will see. Okay, now in general, the rods are narrower and longer than the cones, but this is not always the case. Okay, rods are narrower and longer than the cones, but sometimes it may be different. But you can see in the peripheral portion of the retina, the rods are 2 to 5 micrometers in diameter, whereas the cones are 5 to 8 micrometers in diameter. Their diameter size also varies. In the central part of the retina, in the fovea, there are rods and the cones are slender and have a diameter of just 1.5 micrometer. Okay, very small. Now let us see the figure. Now this is the outer segment. This is the inner segment. Outer limiting membrane, nucleus, synaptic body are the functional part of the rods and cones. See, rods and cones also can be further. Their anatomy is further have the different layers segment. You can see the rod's first part is outer segment and inner segment. Then nucleus, they have nucleus. Then synaptic body. Now this is the outer. Now this right side of the figure is the outer segment. This part only of rods and cones. Rod are now you can see this is cylindrical, whereas cones have this cone shape. You can see here so many layers. You can see like this. They are made of this kind of structure. Okay, membranous structure of the outer segment of rod, and this is rod and this is cone. This is this part, this outer segment. Okay, you can see this diagram. Okay, this diagram is very much important because there are light receptors. So by this outer segment, they function very. Their function is related. That's why. Okay, then. Now layers of the retina. The major functional segment either of rod cone are the outer segment, the inner segment, the nucleus, and the synaptic body that we saw in the figure that I have shown there. The light sensitive photochemical is found in the outer segment. Photochemical. What is that photochemical? This is biochemistry class. That's why we are mainly concerned with this photochemical today. The light sensitive photochemical is found in the outer segment. In the case of the rods, this is rhodopsin. Okay. In the case of the rods, it is rhodopsin. In the case of three color photochemicals, there are simply color pigments. Okay, rhodopsin and color pigment in cone. Okay, so in rods for dim light, rhodopsin for color. There are cones and there are color pigments: red, green, and blue. Especially three colors: red, green, and blue. And that this color is also used by computer people. Okay, this red, green, and blue RGB. So in short, RGB. So this is related to the these cones present in our eye. Okay, red, green, and blue. There are three types of cones actually. Again, but the function of these cones is similar to the rods. Okay, rhodopsin and these color pigments. So there is same thing, same chemical type things are there. There are the same photoreceptors. These photoreceptors, they change the form of the energy from light to the chemical to the impulse, okay, electric impulse, and that is taken up by the nerves, optic nerve to the brain. Okay, so these are these photochemical events. The photochemical actually. This is rhodopsin. Okay, that rhodopsin. Now, please let us see photochemistry of vision. What is that actually? This is the main part. That is photochemistry of vision. Deepika, सुनिएको छ?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, in the photochemistry of vision, both rods and cones contain the chemicals that compose an exposure to light, and in the process excite the nerve fibers leading from the eye. Okay. The light sensitive chemical in the rod is called rhodopsin. The light sensitive chemicals in the cones called cone pigments or coral pigments have composition only slightly different from that of rhodopsin. Okay, main point. In this lecture, we discuss principally the photochemistry of rhodopsin, but the same principle can be applied to the cone pigment. Okay, so in this lecture, we discuss principally the photochemistry of rhodopsin, but we can guess or we can anticipate that the same kind of events occurs in the cones also. Okay, same thing. Now this is a visual cycle. There is a visual cycle. Some people say simple visual cycle. Some people say Walsh, WALDS, Walsh visual cycle, because Walsh was a scientist who first discovered this cycle. That's why in his name it is called also Walsh visual cycle. WALD apostrophe yes, Walsh visual cycle. Okay. Some people, sometime in Viva, the examiner can ask you, what is Walsh visual cycle? Then you will have to answer that. In the theory also, right short motion Walsh visual cycle. Several times it has been asked in the university questions, okay, university examination. So let us see. Rhodopsin and its decomposition by light energy, okay. Now, the outer segment of the rod that projects into the pigment layer of the retina has a concentration of about 40% of the light sensitive pigment called rhodopsin. Or its the other name is visual purple. Okay, rhodopsin is also is called as visual purple. This, what is this then? What is rhodopsin actually? This substance is a combination of the protein. The name of the protein is scotopsin. Okay. Now maybe in the multiple choice question MCQ, MCQ different alternative will be given. Name the protein present in the rhodopsin. Then you have to write scotopsin. This is the protein part of the rhodopsin, and the carotenoid pigment retinol. In that, the combination of in that rhodopsin is made of what? Scotopsin and retinol. Retinol is a aldehyde form of retinol, which is a vitamin A actually. Okay, vitamin A. Vitamin A is found in three forms that I have taken in the vitamin class. You remember vitamin has vitamins. Vitamin A vitamins. In examination, KV examination one time it was asked that vitamin name short notes on vitamins of vitamin A. Vitamins, different kinds of vitamin A. What are those three? If you remember, retinol, 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 alcoholic form, retinal, aldehyde form, and then retinoic acid, COS group. So there are three forms of vitamin A. They are called vitamin A vitamins. Vitamins. Okay. So I am telling you very important thing. Vitamins. There are three forms of vitamin A. They are retinol, retinol, and retinoic acid. Now, here present in this today's lecture is mainly important is that retinol, aldehydic form, or which is called as retinine. So, this rhodopsin contains a protein called scotopsin and a chemical known as retinol, vitamin A one form of vitamin A. Furthermore, the retinol is a particular type called 11-cis retinol, not trans. In the 11th position, there is a double bond. So 11-cis retinol, okay, cis, there is a kink on that, okay, that is cis, not trans form. So that's why this form, retinol is a special form of retinol, that is a 11-cis retinol, okay. Now, this cis form of retinol is important because only this form can bind with scotopsin to synthesize rhodopsin. So this cis 11-cis retinol only cannot retinol, not retinoic acid, not retinol simple, but cis form. Cis 11-cis retinol only bind with the rhodopsin and makes what? Okay, that visual pigment. Now, rhodopsin retinal visual cycle and excitation rates. Now, let us. When the light energy is absorbed by rhodopsin, the rhodopsin contains, as I have said already, what? Scotopsin, a protein, and a 11-cis retinol. Okay, they combine together and they form rhodopsin. Now, this rhodopsin, in that, when light energy is absorbed by rhodopsin, the rhodopsin begins to decompose within a very small fraction of a second. That's shown at the top of the figure 4. The cause of this is photoactivation of electrons in the retinal portion of the rhodopsin, which leads to instantaneous change of this cis form of retinol into all forms. Now, this form of retinol is now changed into all transform. Okay, all transform. That still has the same chemical structure as the cis form, but has a different physical structure, a straight molecule rather than an angulated molecule. Okay. Now, cis form is now changed into transform. Now, this form is called all transform. Okay, all transform. This is a straight molecule, but cis form has a kink on that. Okay. because the three-dimensional orientation of the reactive sites of the all transretinol no longer fits with the orientation of the reactive sites in the protein scotopsin, the all transretinol begins to pull away from the scotopsin. Now it is separated from the that protein part, scotopsins. Okay. The immediate product is bathorodopsin. Now that is now sent into bathorodopsin, which is a partially split combination of the all transretinol and scotopsin. Bathorodopsin is extremely unstable and decays in nanoseconds to luminorhodopsin. See, different one. And then this luminorhodopsin is now changed into meta-rhodopsin in millisecond and meta-rhodopsin second in second, and that now that okay. So I'll show this now. This is a take this, okay? In your you note this, okay? The cycle in your notebook. Also this cycle is figure is very important. Right, and subsequent slow reformation of rhodopsin by the chemical process. Okay, visual cycle. This is the Walsh visual cycle. Okay, Walsh visual cycle. Now what is happening here? Now this is a rhodopsin. Now light energy falls, then see light energy falls there. Okay, then in this rhodopsin, then it changes, light falls, then in picoseconds, then it change this rhodopsin now changes into in nanosecond bathorodopsin. Then in nanosecond it changes into luminorhodopsin, lumirodopsin, lumirodopsin, bathorodopsin, lumi. Then it changes in millisecond into rhodopsin. Some nanoseconds to second. It takes time. Okay? Longer duration. Rhodopsin now decomposes into all transretinol and a protein part. Okay. Now during this time there is a impulse is generated. During this time when meta-rhodopsin is now changed into scotopsin and all impulse is generated, that we'll discuss later on another further. Now this is the cycle. This is the cycle. Okay. Now this takes minutes. Here this takes times minutes, but here in nanosecond, microsecond, millisecond, and second. Okay. Now this is the visual cycle actually. Okay. But there is a then what happens to this all transretinol? Whether it is reutilized or not, it can be reutilized. But there is a system there. Okay, what is that system? There is an enzyme called isomerases. Enzymes are there. This all transretinol isomerase enzyme changes into elevate cisretinol. Okay, and this is a vitamin A. All transretinol now is now changed. Retinol form is now changed into alcoholic form, retinol. That is also there is a isomerase enzyme which can change elevated retinol. So these are two aldehydic isomerase and alcoholic isomerase enzymes are there. So they can be reutilized. That's why this is a cycle. So this kind of cycle, that's why it is called visual cycle or Walsh visual cycle. Okay. Deepika, देखिएको छ?
हाँ sir.
Okay. Now, त्यसपछि what happens then is that now what are the chemical events which there is a signal transduction system there, okay? And so how impulse is generated, and this is carried by the optic nerve to the brain, vision center in the cortex, cerebral cortex. So now this is the event occurring in the retina, okay, in the rods within. But now, then after what happens? Then we'll discuss further, okay? Now there is rhodopsin, retinal, visual, and excitation rods. That is how rods are excited. This then decays in microsecond to metarhodopsin first, then in about millisecond to metarhodopsin second, and finally, more slowly in seconds in the completely split products, scotopsin and transretinal that we have discussed. It is the metarhodopsin second, also called activated rhodopsin, that electrical changes in the rods, and the rods then transmit the visual image into a central nervous system in the form of optic nerve action potential. Okay. Okay. Now reformation we have discussed again first in figure, but I'll describe again. The first stage in the reformation of rhodopsin, as shown in figure 4, is to reconvert the all trans retinol into 11-cis retinol. This process requires metabolic energy and is characterized by the enzyme retinol isomerase. Once then 11-cis retinol is formed, it automatically recombines with scopocin to reform the rhodopsin, which then remains stable until its decomposition is again staggered by absorption of light energy. Now that was the cycle. Okay. Now, role of vitamin A for formation of rhodopsin. What is the role of vitamin A? That in figure that we note that there is a second chemical route by which all trans retinol can be converted. This is conversion of the all trans retinol first into all trans retinol, which is one form of vitamin A. Then the all trans retinol is converted into 11-cis retinol under the influence of the enzyme isomerase. So in alcoholic form is called vitamin A. Alcoholic form retinol, OL. Okay, having OH group, alcohol. So that is a vitamin A actually. Okay, that can be changed into retinaldehyde, which is part of the rhodopsin. That retinol, NAL, is now binds with the scotopsins to make rhodopsin. Okay. Finally, the 11-cis retinol is converted into retinol, which combines into rhodopsin. Okay. Vitamin A is present in ways available to form a new retinol when needed. Conversely, if there is excess retinol in the retina, it is converted back into vitamin A, thus reducing the amount of light sensitive pigment in the retina. Okay, this is the role of vitamin A in vision. Okay, especially today's class topic is on that mainly. Okay, so how vitamin A is helping in the vision. Then, what is night blindness? Night blindness occurs in any person with severe vitamin A deficiency. The reason for this is that without vitamin A, the amounts of retinol and rhodopsin that can form are severely depressed. This condition is called night blindness because the amount of light available for night is too little to permit adequate vision in vitamin A deficient person. Okay, because rod is mainly related with the dim light. Dim light is especially useful in the night, okay, or in the dim light, okay. Especially in the evening time when sunset occurs, that okay, that time the dim light is very essential. So it is related with rhodopsin, but the events are similar in the cones also. Color vision also same kind of events occurs. Okay, with the color pigment, not with rhodopsin, but there are separate three color pigments: red, blue, and green. That I have said already. Okay, same things are same. Okay, for night blindness to occur, a person usually must remain a vitamin A deficient diet for months because large quantities of vitamin are normally stored in the liver and can be made available to the other type. So to have a night blindness, severe depletions of vitamin A would occur. Otherwise, there is a storage of vitamin A in the liver. Okay. Once night blindness develops, it can sometimes be reversed less than 1 hour by intravenous injection of vitamin A. If night blindness occurs, then if you give intravenous injection of vitamin A, automatically say that 1 hour, within 1 hour, his night blindness goes out. Very dramatic treatment. Okay, is that. Now, what are the events? Now, actually, the photochemical reaction events that are happening is now being described here now. Now, the thing is that the rod receptor potential is hyperpolarizing. In other action potential development, we have used the simple action potential development. We have learned in physiology that there is a depolarization. After depolarization, there is action potential development. But here, it is not like that. Here, it is a hyperpolarization. That is important. What do you mean by hyperpolarization? Still, the negative charge is still going increasing. That is called hyperpolarizing. That is important for here. This is the difference. Okay. See, I will describe you. When the rod exposed to light, the resulting receptor potential is different from the receptor potential in almost all other sensory receptors. That is, excitation of the rod causes increased negativity. See, increased negativity of the intra-rod membrane potential, which is a state of hyperpolarization, not depolarization, meaning that there is more negativity than normal inside the red membrane. This is exactly opposite to the decreased negativity, the process of depolarization. That occurs in almost all other sensory receptors. Important point to remember is that there is hyperpolarization, not depolarization in ordinary cells. Okay. Then what happens? Then how does activation of the rhodopsins cause hyperpolarization? That is a question. The answer is that when rhodopsin decomposes, it decreases the rod membrane conductance for sodium ions in the outer segment of the rod. This causes hyperpolarization of the entire rod membrane in the following way. Okay. The figure 5 will show this and shows the movement of sodium and potassium ions in a complete electrical circuit through the inner and outer segments of the rod. The inner segment continually pumps sodium from the inside the rod to the outside, and potassium ions are pumped to the inside of the cell. Okay, so this is a continuous. Now this is the mechanism. Okay? And see, they are cyclic GMP related channels. Okay, sodium and potassium continuous. There are potassium selective channels. Okay, and now the sodium goes inside high GMP, cyclic GMP, open channels. If the cyclic GMP is high, channels are open. If there is cyclic GMP is low, the channel close. Okay, so that's why for sodium, this cyclic GMP channel for sodium here, and its potassium selective channels are there. And then what happens? The current flows in this direction. Okay, current flows in this direction. You can see circuit kind of things. So this is the mechanism how this is happening in the photochemical reaction happening in the rods. Cone is also same. Okay, and then what happens? Potassium ions leak out of the cell through non-gated potassium channels that are confined to the inner segment of the rod. You can see here. Inner layer. Okay, then what happens? As in other cell, this sodium potassium pump creates a negative potential on the inside of the entire cell. However, the outer segment of the rod where the photoreceptor discs are located is entirely different. Here the rod membrane in the dark state is leaked to sodium ions that flow through cyclic GMP gated channels. Okay, so this cyclic GMP gated channels is now taking part here. In the dark state, cyclic GMP levels are high, permitting a positive sodium ions to continually leak back to the inside of the rod and thereby neutralize the most of the negativity on the inside of the entire cell. Okay, thus under normal dry condition, when the rod is not excited, there is reduced electronegativity inside the membrane of the rod, measuring about minus 40 millivolts rather than the usual 70 to minus 80. Okay, millivolts found in the most sensory receptors. Okay, So this is quite different. These rods and cells are quite different from the other cells. Okay. So just negativity is just 40 millivolts, not 70 to 80. Resting membrane potential, say. What is that? Okay. So this is the thing. And then when the rhodopsin in the outer segment of the rod is exposed to the light, remember, when dark situation, it is just 40 millivolts, it remains as a rest position. But when the rhodopsin in the outer segment of the rod is exposed to the light, it is activated and begins to decompose. The cyclic GMP gated sodium channels are closed now. See, cyclic GMP gated sodium channels are closed, and the outer segment membrane conductance of the sodium to the interior of the rod is reduced by a three-step process. What are these three steps? Light is absorbed by the rhodopsin, causing photoactivation of the electron in the retinal portion, is previously described. The activated rhodopsin stimulates G protein called transduction, which then activates cyclic GMP phosphodiesterase. This enzyme catalyzes the breakdown of cyclic GMP to 5' cyclic GMP, and the reduction of cyclic GMP closes the cyclic gated sodium channels and reduces the inward sodium current. Sodium ions continue to be pumped outward through the membrane of the inner segment. Thus, more sodium ions now leave the rod, then leak back in because they are positive ions. They are lost from inside the rod, creates increased negative leaks inside the membrane. Now, because of this leaking of the sodium channels from inside to the out, the positive ion is now lost by the cells, and the negativity is increasing by cell. That is the reason for hyperpolarization. That is the leaking of the sodium from the cyclic MP gated channels causes inside the hyperpolarization. This is the main event there. Okay, this is very important. Remember this. Okay, so there is especially cyclic GMP gated channels for sodium. Okay, when light falls, this channel leak the sodium from inside to outside. Okay, causing hyperpolarization. Then you can see here. Now, this is the part of the cone. Okay, rhodopsin, light falls, G protein transduction occurs. Then this phosphodiesterase 5' cyclic GMP is produced. Then cyclic GMP is produced. Now, sodium channel is open. Okay. Then what happens? And the greater the amount of light energy is striking the rod, the greater the electronegativity becomes. That is, the greater is the degree of hyperpolarization. At maximum light intensity, the membrane potential approaches 70, minus 70 to minus 80 millivolts, which is near the equilibrium potential for potassium ions across the membrane. Another characteristic of the receptor potential is that it is approximately proportional to the logarithm of the light intensity. Logarithm. Okay. Receptor potential is that it is approximately proportional to the logarithm of the light intensity, not ordinary. There is no linear relationship. There is logarithmic relationship. In the mathematics, we have learned what is logarithm. So the state simple linear reaction, simple linearity is 1-to-1. Okay, but in logarithmic part, relation is in the mathematics 10+2. So you have understand that there is a difference between linear relationship and the logarithmic relationship. Okay, so you can go to the again revise what is logarithmic function, what is logarithmic function. Okay, that relation function, different kind of function. The one of them function is logarithmic function, exponential function, linear function. So many types of trigonometric function you have learned in the 10+2. Okay, I'm not going to that in the mathematics now, but just to remember that what is logarithmic function. Okay, the function is kind of logarithmic relationship. Okay, function. This is exceedingly important because why this logarithmic relation is there? Why it is important? Yeah, this is exceedingly important because it allows the eye to discriminate light intensity through a range many thousand times as great as would be possible otherwise. Okay, So the invention of logarithm has to that people mathematician invented logarithm because they by taking logarithm you can decrease the size, okay, of figures, okay, and decrease the size. But now this if you do uh, then inverse exponentiation it increases size, okay. Now if you do anti-logarithm then the size increases. Similarly, then what happens that now this thing drawn is by this eye. So they are these rod and cone cells are now mathematically working apparatus. See, mathematically working apparatus here. So nature has made this mathematics apply to the nature. Okay, mathematics now is now nature is applying mathematics here. See, what is use of mathematics? Why you should read mathematics? Nonsense. Somebody say that why you should medical doctor should read mathematics. Deepika सुन्ने को छ?
हाँ सर.
Okay, it is not nonsense. See now the application of mathematics here. Now natural shells like rods and using mathematics. So yeah, I'm going to express here now. So this is extremely important because it allows the eye to discriminate light intensities through a range. So there is wide range. If you do a logarithmical relationship, the range will be very wide. Okay, many thousands times as great as would be possible otherwise. Okay, this is very important. And so we were discussing about the rods, okay. So this is mathematical things, logarithmic reactions, the relation is there. Okay, you can send them. And then now what about the cones? That was for roads, okay. Now what about the cones? So cones also, it was pointed out that the outset of this discussion that the protochemicals in the cones have almost exactly the same chemical composition as that of rhodopsin in the rods. Okay, remember, the only difference is that the protein, the portion of the popsin called photopsins in the cones are slightly different from the scotopsin of the rods. Okay, protein part is slightly different. The retinal portion of all visual pigments is exactly the same in the cones as in the rods. The color sensitive pigments of the cones, therefore, are combination of retinal and photopsins. Okay, so these are also combination of retinal again and photopsin. Only three types of color pigment is present in each of the different cones. Blue, green, or red. These color pigments are called blue sensitive pigment, green sensitive pigment, and red. Okay, remember. Now computer is also using this. And the absorption characteristic of the pigment in the three types of cones show weak absorbance at peak absorption, maximum absorption at nanometer, see wavelength. Blue 445, green green 535, and red 570 nanometers. Okay. Now we have in the biochemistry practical. Remember, we are in the first lecture. We the colorimeter. We are saying the nanometer, wavelength, everything that we have. My junior colleague have taught you. What is a wavelength? What is colorimeter? And everything. Beer's law, Lambert's law, everything. Now physics. Here also, these are the RGB pigments. The color pigments have their maximum absorbance at this wavelength. Okay. These are also the wavelengths of peak light sensitive for each type of cone, which begins to explain how the retina differentiates the colors. By the differences in the nanometer scale, okay, now, okay, these are, now we are seeing the colors. Our brain differentiate different colors, but just by difference of these nanometers wavelength. We differentiate colors, red, green, blue, and all other colors. All the other colors are produced by these three colors. Okay, remember this combination. If you mix it, then it becomes a next color, orange, everything. Okay, like that. Violet, you can make made by these all three colors. Okay. So I'm not going to do the physics of the color, but there is, you can take it several lecture on the color. Okay, physics people will do that. The approximate absorption curve for these three pigments are shown in the figure 7. We'll see that. Also, shown is the absorption curve of the rhodopsin of the rods. Rhodopsin has a 505 nanometers. Not okay, 505 rhodopsin. These are the rods. Rhodopsin has this curve, black one, blue, green, and maximum absorbance occurs in there. How many colors are there? Violet, blue, green, yellow, orange, and red. But there are three primary colors: blue, green, and red. Okay. Now, Deepika, Sunyo.
Sunirasa, sir.
Okay, now this is very important. Remember, hyperpolarization is the mechanism, not depolarization in these photosensitive cells. Rods, cones, okay, there are three types of cones: red, good color sensitive, blue color sensitive, and green color sensitive. Three cones, three type of cones. They have respective wavelengths, okay. And rods also has a wavelength about 505. I have shown here. 505 here. So the rods are for dim light, and cones are for color vision. Rods are for dim vision, okay. And all of these require vitamin A. Okay, vitamin A is stored in retinol alcoholic form, but it can be changed into by isomerase enzyme by retinol form. That retinol is now the more important form of retinol, aldehydic form is cis retinol. Okay, that can be changed into all retinol. Okay, the protein part containing in the rhodopsin is a scotopsin. Scotopsin. Okay, that is a protein part. The vitamin A part is cis retinol, 11 cis retinol. Okay, okay. This is this is main point. The Walsh visual cycle and everything that there is a hyperpolarization of the cell that creates the impulse cycle, which is related with cyclic GMP levels. Okay, that is related to the sodium channel, leaking of sodium channels. Okay, so everything now I have given you this example here. Now this is one lecture for this photo. This is what is called photochemical event, photochemistry of vision. Let us say today's lecture topic, say photochemistry of vision. Now, by this, then, now one question you can, now this is homework for you, describe photochemistry of vision. Okay, all of the people solve this problem. Okay, describe photochemistry of vision and add a note on night blindness. This is the question for you today. Describe photochemistry of vision and add a note on night blindness. Okay? You solve this problem. Probably this question may be asked in the university examination also. Okay? Describe photochemistry of vision, add a note on night blindness. Thank you. Okay? Deepika,
Thank you, sir.
कस्तो भयो क्लास?
राम्रो भयो, sir.
त्यही त अल द भिटामिन ए इज ए भेरी सिम्पल